Building brands that people love, brands that stands out, brands that connects, and brands that build futures. Branding is the bridge between a CEO's vision and a customer's decision. When anyone thinks of the iPhone, what comes in mind is prestige, innovation, and a sleek design. Anyone that buys an iPhone is not just buying a phone. They are buying a sense of belonging. They are buying a symbol of status and a belonging to a community. Now, iPhone customers have been sold the story being told by Apple. I always say, you can't always control what people feel about your brand, but you can influence their impression and their feeling about the brand. You can't control it, but you can influence it. This brings me to the point where brands lately sell more of their stories than focusing on the main product. So every single step you take in your life contributes to building your brand. So consciously or unconsciously, you are building a brand. So with this being said, I'm sure all of us here agree that personally, we all have a brand individually. But the question is it a conscious brand or an unconscious one? Now, to have a conscious brand, there are certain traits that you need to exhibit. There are certain things that defines you. You need to have a clear identity. Now, your brand identity is how you present yourself or your organization to the world. For you to clearly define this identity that represents you, you need to make sure you are clearly defining the elements that you stand for. And I'll divide this into just two. There will be the strategic elements and the visual elements. What I mean by the strategic element is your persona, your vision, the purpose for which you exist or your brand exists. Now, when I come to the visual element, I can talk of the colors that represent your brand, the colors that resonate with you as an individual, your typography, your patterns, your slogan. I would like us to take a few exercises. I'll ask all of us to probably spare me about 60 seconds or the next minute. I would wish we all close our eyes as we answer a few questions that I'm about to ask you guys. You just marble out the answers to these questions, all right? So can we all get our eyes closed? Now, the first question. When you think of any popular fizzy drink or soft drink that is associated with the color red, what brand comes in mind? I want you guys to whisper that one out. All right, your guess is as good as mine. Now, keep your eyes closed. Anytime there is a family gathering, a group gathering, friends meeting groups, and it calls for celebration, and we are looking to spark a moment of happiness, what global brand which deals in soft drinks or fizzy drinks comes in mind first? Yes, your guess is good as mine as well. So these answers you guys gave, without me mentioning the brand's name, tells you how strategically and strongly they've positioned themselves by building a conscious brand. Not all brands would like to be associated with the examples I gave, because with the first example, they were trying to identify themselves with color, which falls under the visual element I told you about. Now, the next example was with happiness, which was about their purpose and the feeling they are trying to sell. Now, let's deal with the last question. That is a brand that believes in their slogan. They believe that if I don't mention my name, my slogan will do the talking for me. Let's close our eyes for this one last question. And when I call out the slogan, I expect you to marvel out the answer as well to which brand I'm talking about. Whenever you hear "it's finger licking good," what comes in mind? All right, guess is as good as mine. Now, the question is your brand memorable without mentioning its name? Okay. I would like to chip in a personal story here. So when I was young, I used to be the all yes guy. All yes guy in the sense that whatever information you fed me, I receive it, I accept it without questioning the why and the why nots. Growing up, I developed a different trajectory to this whole thing. I started questioning stuffs. You can't just feed me information without me finding out the whys and nots. So I started questioning everything before I accept it. I felt that was a sense of awakening for me. I was discovering myself more. So it came into play when I was entering into SHS, when I decided to opt to study business in SHS so that I can become a bank manager at the will or against the will of my parents who wanted me to study science because they wanted me to become a civil engineer or a doctor. If it was my younger self, I wouldn't have questioned that. I would have hid into it. But because I've had that sense of awakening and I knew what aligned with my true identity, I started going with things that I believe in and I felt was okay for me. So I wanted to study business to become a bank manager. Not because I just felt like, but it was because as at that time, I saw that profession to be very lucrative and attractive. Fast forward, I studied the course and I was done with SHS and I'm in tertiary now, reading accounting. Alongside, I discovered a hobby in graphic design. So I was studying accounting and I was doing graphic design as a hobby on the side. Some of my friends got to know about it, so they started asking me for my services. Some of my friends were running side businesses, so they will ask me for a logo design, they will ask me for a flyer design, and I'll assist with that without any charge because it was like a hobby for me. Now, anytime I'm able to work on a graphic design project that solves a problem for them, I get this sort of fulfillment within me. I felt that much fulfillment than me probably writing my final exam and getting like an A. So I realized that was where my true self was. That was where my true self of belonging was. Fast forward, I didn't know this was going to be the genesis or going to lead to the birth of my digital creative agency after tertiary. So in 2022, I landed a job with a company who was venturing into a new industry. They were trying to start up a restaurant. So we all know that space is very saturated now. It's not easy to break through. So we got into that space and we became just like any other restaurant. It was difficult to break through because there were already big names in the industry. So you coming in as a newbie, it's not easy for you to break through. Now we were at crossroads. How do we break through? How do we stand out? Now our CEO came with an idea, which I found very interesting, and I was so eager to strategize for that idea because I knew that was going to be a deal breaker. Now this was the idea. It was a why and the why not of pizza. The why and the why not of pizza. We were supposed to defy the odds and challenge the status quo of who defined or described how pizza is supposed to be. So the first why was, why is every pizza shaped in a round? It's shaped round. That was the first question. And the strategy I came up for this was, okay, then henceforth, the new product we are going to launch, we are not going to make it take the shape of a round shape. We are going to make sure our pizza comes out as a square shape. So that was the first strategy. Secondly, why does every slice of a pizza comes in a rectangular shape? It didn't sit well with us. We also wanted our new product to come out in a square shape, not a triangular shape. Now the next question was, you know the product pizza comes in different flavors. You pay for the flavor you are interested in. So the question was, why can't we have a pizza that has all of the flavors in it? Because we are trying to come up with a product that is going to sound heroic because it's defying all the odds. The whys and the nots is defying it. So if it's going to be heroic, then it needs to encompass a great taste that cannot be found anywhere else. So we had to combine 8 different flavors into that particular pizza as well. Now, it being a heroic pizza, it needed that feel, it needed that appearance of it being a hero. I'm sure in our young ages, we all knew how heroes appear, the Spider-Man, the Batman, and all that. Now, the question was, how do we do this? I was looking at solving this problem from the angle where we are not just going to give it any appearance, but an appearance that is going to solve a problem as well. So realize pizza is being enjoyed mostly by families. And anytime they come to the restaurant and they go for the family-sized pizza, it's difficult to hold it with one hand. So they are always using 2 hands to hold it. Now, this is the situation. Most of these families come with their kids. So the moment you use your 2 hands to hold the pizza, is depriving you from holding the hands of your kid who you came with, or probably using your phone at the same time. Now, that's where the next question came in. How do we solve this? How do we defy the odds that says that pizza box or pizza packaging should always be held in our hand? And if it's a family size, we should use 2 hands to hold it. Now, the solution was we need to come up with a pizza box that has a handle. I carefully crafted a very nice design for that, and the production was done. So this new product now had a pizza box that has a handle. Now 4 steps have been defined here. 4 questions have been asked and solved with the shape of the pizza, the shape of the slice, the ingredients that goes into it, combining 8 different flavors, and making sure that it's convenient enough for people to hold with 1 hand and comfortable enough. Now, we launched this advertisement before the official launch of the product. So anyone in Kumasi would have noticed this. The billboards were spread across the city, conveying the same message of defying the odds of what a pizza is supposed to be. The same message of repeating the questions I just asked you guys. Why is a pizza supposed to be round? Why does the slice of pizza has to be triangular? Good enough, because the strategy was very strong. This really caught the awareness of people. And after the launch of the pizza, it really catapulted the name of their brand. It raised the name of the restaurant. Now, the name of the restaurant was heard in the industry. The big boys started asking of it. I remember a time when I got an information from a different brand, trying to find out where we got our pizza boxes from, which there was no way I was going to disclose that, because that was our unique identity that gave us a presence in the market we are operating in. Now, with this restaurant I'm talking about, it wasn't just about they producing the best of products. It was about we identifying something that will make us stand out uniquely. And that was through the questions that we asked, the whys and the why nots, and how to stand out uniquely. I'm sure if not for these things, it would have been difficult for the name of that restaurant to be remembered anywhere now. In today's world, being invisible is more dangerous than being incompetent. In today's world, being invisible is more dangerous than being incompetent. Now, the question I'm going to ask you is your brand memorable without you mentioning the name of your brand? I am Michael Parry Asiamah. I build brands that people love and remembers. Thank you.